Ritual of the Night had an interesting development cycle that I absolutely applaud the developers for. After a difference in opinions on the direction of Konami and Koji Igarashi, Koji ultimately decided to leave the company and start development on a passion project, a spiritual successor to the beloved franchise, Castlevania. With Kickstarter proving once again that there is demand for this type of product, Koji Igarashi set forth into making yet another top-tier Metroidvania game, Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night. Though development wasn't always smooth with several delays and a concerning demo to say the least, the developers stayed true and brought us the long-awaited Castlevania successor, but does it live up to the hype? This is my review of Bloodstained: Ritual of the Night. As with every Metroidvania game, there is two things that you absolutely need to get correct: the platforming and the combat, and boy am I happy that they nailed it with Ritual of the Night. While the platforming isn't its strong suit, the combat is top tier, pitting it up with the best of the best Metroidvania games. If you like Hollow Knight, pay close attention. There is a ton of weapons and abilities in Ritual of the Night. The combat never feels stale as you continue to get new weapon after new weapon. Not only do they feel nice to use, but they also have their own unique movesets. While some weapons such as the Claymore has a slow overarching attack, a sword may only have a quick slash. Weapons range from swords to whips and even guns. They can fit about any playstyle, making it feel like a true RPG. You can also mix up your abilities with the use of shards that grant you special abilities such as a grinder blade or a bouncing ball of water. Even within the first 2 hours of the game, I unlocked around 10 different shards by defeating random enemies, so there is no shortage here either. You can then add familiars, passives, change your armor, and just the overall amount of customizable content is simply staggering, and one of the reasons this game is top of its class. You can even customize your character such as the hair, clothes, eyes, and skin tone, which was a welcome surprise for this type of game, and gives you your own sense of identity. And none of this would be worth anything if it wasn't for the interesting and unique monsters in Ritual of the Night. In a lot of games, it seems like developers only make a small handful of enemies that is scattered throughout the entirety of the game. But in Rituals of the Night, you're constantly seeing something new that you have never seen before. And with each unique monster, you may have to approach it slightly different than the last. And seriously, some of the monsters in this game can be very unique. I mean, we even have a demon cat that we can post on the internet as an enemy. But the most fun I had while playing Rituals of the Night was when fighting boss battles that can be challenging. I'm a sucker for challenging games, and I feel like good boss battles are a bit of a lost art form from when I was growing up, so I will always commend developers for giving me fun and challenging bosses. With that said, I must say that I was a bit disappointed that they decided to lock you out of hard difficulty on your first playthrough, as that would have been a much more fun challenge for me personally. Instead, I had to play the game on normal difficulty. Nonetheless, there is still plenty of things to do during your first playthrough, and it never worsens the game. The exploration feels good with lots of things to discover, from hidden items to unlockable abilities. And the map is smartly designed in how they keep you from entering areas you shouldn't be in until you level up and get the ability, letting you advance further. With that said, you may have to grind a little to level yourself up from time to time, but the particularly curious people don't hesitate on whacking a few walls while you're at it, as there may be a hidden item or two. You can even do side missions, though don't expect a great story here. Speaking of stories, Ritual of the Night does have a story which is fully voice acted, which I do appreciate. However, I didn't find the story or its characters to be particularly engaging. Basically, there is a reason you become a powerful demon slayer with these abilities, and you have a reason to find out more. It's not that the story isn't good, it's just kind of basic and forgettable. So if you're looking for the next big story-driven game, you may want to sit this one out. But once again though, it doesn't detract from what does make this game so good. I really can't express that enough. It's the gameplay and the combat that you're going to fall in love with. Now with that said, there is a few bugs and minor flaws in Rituals of the Night, one of which is being patched, but for early adopters they may end up losing their save file by updating. For those coming to the game for the first time, the two bugs that happened to me personally was getting stuck on a platform, unable to move, and something that caused my controller to rumble for minutes at a time. This actually happened to me often, so hopefully it does get patched out soon. I also wish they would have improved the map to better keep track of important characters and locations, but it does always highlight the save points and shortcuts at the very least. When all is said and done though, the main question remains, is the hype for this game justified? And I will say absolutely yes if you like Metroidvania games. Even if you haven't played a Castlevania game prior to this, I would still recommend this game. I myself never got into Castlevania games, so it's not like I have rose-tinted glasses or anything. It's just simply a good game. While there is bugs and the story isn't exceptional by any means, the combat, the exploration, and its RPG elements truly does make this a top-tier Metroidvania game.